Hello everyone, it's Chris again, and I'm going to show you the progress I've made on this week, the 7th week. I tag every week's progress before I create the video um, for my game called Expand. So this week I worked on finishing up the scripting, so all the elements of the game are now scriptable. That includes the camera, the expanding bodies, the inner circle, the outer circle, and a few other things. So you can use have functions to update when the every frame, and you can update the drawing and a few other little small things as well. And so that's all finished. And as soon as I finished that, I worked on creating a very basic level for the ARG gathering in South Australia, or in Adelaide to be precise. And so I showed this off at ARG with a whole bunch of other game developers from the local Adelaide scene, and I got a little bit of feedback. I didn't play test with too many people because I already know what a lot of the bugs are, and I don't really want to taint all my other potential playtesters out there. And so I didn't show too much, but I just got a little bit of a sort of rough idea about what people are thinking about the game so far. And it's generally pretty positive, even though I think when you playtest, with people you know and friends, their opinions are generally going to be pretty positive. Anyway, and so I finished scripting. I got a basic level up and running. When scripting, I ran into lots of bugs. Well, not lots, but about 5 or 6. And so I spent the week fixing those bugs, and now the game works a little bit better. And on top of that, I also started working on determining when the player would collide. And when they would collide, if they would collide with another surface, that would result in a squash. And I had a few problems. One of the problems, because of the way things are handled, is sort of explained by what I'm doing now. So at the moment, I'm just going to walk in front of the path of the sector, and what you'll notice is that I don't move along with it always, but I actually get pushed out. Now, you'd expect this in a sort of normal physics system, which makes sense because I'm using Box 2D, but what you expect or should expect in my game is for the player to continue to move along in a circular path with the sector, and so it'll never leave the side or be pushed out to the edges unless the player decides to move out of the way. And this currently isn't happening. And to cut a long story short, for me to properly get squashing being determined in Box 2D, I have to get this working as well. So this is a really subtle thing I thought wouldn't really be noticeable, but it actually turns out to be an edge case that's sort of a big deal. So I'm going to have to fix that up this week. On top of that, I realized there's a whole bunch of sort of extra features I could add to the game to make creating levels much faster. One of those would be like a timeline that I could use to drag sort of the timeline head to different points to different times in the level, so I can quickly edit things and see how they work and jump to the end or jump to the start or all those things. I also want to put functionality in there to reload scripting, the scripts that I load, and then to sort of have more event handling stuff in terms of creating content ahead of time and preloading content. So at the moment, I just have a update function in my script that that passes the time it's taken since the last frame, and then what that does, it keeps a running tally of the time it's taken to run the program, and then it has a big series of if statements that determine when something should be generated. And I need a bit of code to tidy that up massively, so I can just have changes to the world dispatched whenever. And I also need to improve the text rendering as well. It doesn't look the best, but the worst thing is that it's so slow to load. It when loading like lots of text, it brings the system to a halt. Even loading the title makes the game take like a minute or two to load. It's quite ridiculous. So I need to look into this, but that probably won't happen for a few weeks. And so yeah, there are all the new features that I've been plotting out this week based around my experiences in scripting the levels. I got bugs fixed, and the other thing I worked on was sort of squashing, which I need this to work, to properly work in order to do that. And I've started writing some code to handle that at the moment. But at the moment, I'm just essentially buffering the contact data from Box2D, and then I'm going to be pulling that out and playing with it and handling the collisions myself, which actually means that I can drop the time step to be an actual reasonable time step for Box 2D instead of the ridiculously high one at the moment, which is about 6 to 12 times higher than it needs to be. And so yeah, that's everything I've worked on this week and what I've got to work on next week. So that's everything I need to say for now. Thanks to everyone who playtested the game and gave me your feedback. It's greatly appreciated. If you want to follow the development progress on the game, you can visit my blog at blog.cjohnson.id.au. Thanks for watching.